You know, I'm gonna need some help. I gotta call in some help. Is there anyone around that can help me make this prediction? Exclamation point help.
Oh.
Daz, can you hear me, Daz?
Yeah, I hear you, Musty. I hear you.
Yeah, North America, you know, they're looking good now. There are only 2 teams left, and I gotta love my boys at NRG, but I saw a YouTube video about Sandrock on my recommended page. It was a really good video. Yeah. Going Sandrock on this one.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to This Week on Rocket League. This is of course the series where I bring you guys all the stupidity that this game has had to offer over the past 7 days. Now let's check out the news for this week. BMW teamed up with the esports brand LVL to create a real-life Rocket League charity event this week. As far as I know, the event actually had nothing to do with Psyonix, but it's basically Rocket League with RC cars.
Losing hopes, troubled faces. Okay, Kylie is bumping into your own teammate. Not the way to go there, Kylie.
They made it so realistic that even in real life the players bumped their own teammates. In the end, they gathered about $7,500 in donations to the United Nations Population Fund, which helps improve healthcare and education for youth in the Caribbean and Latin America. So fair play to them, even though I've just realized that this had really nothing to do with Rocket League. They had esports pros at the event, but they were like Dota 2 pros. But then again, they did do this event at the same time as the biggest Rocket League event in 2 years. But talking about actual Rocket League, let's check out what's been happening in esports. It's the event we've all been waiting for. The first LAN in 2 years, EU versus NA. I'm of course talking about the Fall Major. And where do I even start? The event of course started with the Swiss stage. Now the first round was pretty standard and the same as usual. Nothing special to say here. You can't just come into your first LAN and do that. They have families, you know. Ahmed sealed the deal after this 0-second absolute screamer of a redirect in game 3.
Both teams posture for OT. G2 will quite happily take it. Sandrock, they don't want to go there. Ahmed!
In Civic's reaction on Twitter pretty much summarizes how we all felt. After the game, G2's PR team were scrambling to come up with a statement to their fans.
I promise, like, and even it's been a weird.
Besides that, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. There were no other upsets. After dominating Europe last season in the online tournaments, it was the first LAN event for Team BDS, which meant that this was also the first time we saw them play in real life as a team together. And we also got to see how close Monkey Moon sits to his monitor. No wonder his car control is so good. The car is the only thing he sees. BDS then went on to face NRG in the second round. Literally the matchup everyone had been waiting for. Arguably the best teams from EU and NA respectively, BDS and NRG. But in the end it was BDS who was victorious as they beat NRG 3-1 to go 2-0 in the Swiss stage. FaZe Clan went on to avenge their fellow NA organization though, as they beat BDS 3-1 in the next round and made it to the playoffs with a 3-0 record. Dignitas also made it to the playoffs with a 3-0 record after they swept every single series in the Swiss stage. NRG's problems continued as they lost to Endpoint in Game 7 overtime. Now, I would just like to say, never lost trust in them. I always knew they were gonna do great. I never lost hope. Verdy sadly had to go home without a win in the major as they got swept in the third round by G2. It's only the first step for the APAC regions though, and I'm sure they're gonna learn a lot from this experience and come back stronger than ever. Moving on to the fourth round though, where Sandrock swept round 0 to clinch their spot in the first LAN playoff appearance in the region's history. I mean, I know Sunless made a Sandrock video like a couple days before, but surely no one expected this. Complexity on the other hand beat Semper and became the first South American North American team to make it to the playoffs. Meanwhile, True Neutral is in South America trying to figure out why Davinsano's Spanish sounds so weird. Turbopolsa returned to Sweden to play in the Fall Major. However, he had to return home away from Sweden after getting beat 3-1 by G2. At least he's got sleeping on the airport floor again to look forward to. NRG had to fight with their backs against the wall to make it to the playoffs, but then they got Vitality as their opponent and got the first perfect sweep at a LAN in RLCS history.
Okay, we are now 2-0 down in the series. We haven't scored a single goal. For the next game, I want the third man. What are you doing? Now's not the time to eat un baguette. So for the next game, I want the third man. Are you kidding me?
In the last round, Endpoint, NRG, and Semper managed to take the last spots in the playoffs, and Harry Maguire was just oozing with excitement.
Great victory, keep it up lads, bring it home.
They could just tell him to say anything at this point and he wouldn't even question it. Good job, Semper. Wow, I'm plat 2 and I can hit flip reset, double tap Musties, but it's just my teammates who don't know how to rotate. Rizzo decided to make his own hype video for complexity.
Great victory. Keep it up, lads. Bring it on.
Semper were having none of it, however. I like how even the organization is in on the meme. But moving on to the playoffs, Harry Maguire's weekend got only better as Semper beat the undefeated Dignitas in 7 games in the quarterfinals. Dignitas had a bit of banter on Twitter when NRG and G2 had both gone down to 1 and 2 in the Swiss stage, sending them instructions to the Stockholm airport. So now NRG decided to return the favor. BDS beat Complexity 4-2 in the next matchup, and clearly Rizzo just doesn't have the pure inspirational power of Harry Maguire. Musty also finally got to play for the first time. The excitement must have been unbelievable after years of grind. FaZe faced off against Endpoint next, and I think we can just skip that. And in the last matchup of the quarterfinals, SRG faced off against NRG, the first timers against the world champion. Could Sandrock get the upset? Before the match, the analysts did their usual game predictions. Dazarin wanted to bring a special guest to do the prediction, so he brought out the NRG sub himself, Musty, and
I saw a YouTube video about Sandrock on my recommended page. It was a really good video. Yeah. Going Sandrock on this one.
So if there's any organization looking for a new sub, a new free agent has just come to the market. Sunless Khan's Sandrock video wasn't enough to boost him the victory, however. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. As NRG won and went on to play Endpoint in the semifinals. Okay, it was FaZe. After the game, Senzo announced his retirement. Can't think of a much better way to end a career. Okay, winning would have been better, but it's just a figure of speech. Best of luck to him in all his future endeavors. BDS beat Semper to make it to their first finals in their first LAN major. Meanwhile, Harry Maguire must have been punching the air somewhere in Manchester. On the other side of the semifinals, arguably the best 2 teams in North America faced off against each other. It was going to be a gruesome battle between the 2 giants. NRG won 4-1. Well, that was pretty easy. But now it was time for the grand finals. And it was the matchup we had all been waiting for. Again, the best against the best. Years in the making. Years of speculation. BDS versus NRG. EU versus NA. After so many had doubted them, BDS finally faced the world champions in a best of set. It was the veterans against the newcomers. Matchup of the century. And BDS kinda destroyed NRG in the first series. It was a lot closer than the scoreline says. BDS kept getting huge leads over NRG, but they kept making late comebacks one after another. Even with a player like Justin though, they just couldn't clutch it and lost 4-1 in the first series. In the second series, BDS went up by 2. Monkey Moon was 1 shot away from taking a 3-0 lead in game 3 when R2D2 appeared out of nowhere.
Goes middle, bump coming in, it's the Monkey Moon, shots on target, off the bar and out! How's that in the background? There's another setup, squishy!
The second series went all the way to game 7, where BDS won 2-0 to finally seal the deal. Team BDS then went absolutely wild after securing the fall major win.
That should do it! BDS are no longer the best team online in Europe! They lay claim to the best team offline!
But that's it for the esports segment. What a weekend. There was a lot of hype for the event, and it's pretty safe to say that it didn't disappoint. But what did you think of the fall major? How many times did you almost pass out while watching the finals? But we've just seen the absolute best that this game has to offer. So naturally, let's take a look at the worst that this game has to offer. Let's check out what the community has been up to. I don't mean the community is bad. I mean the clips are kind of bad. That's actually a really nice save. Of course, usually they're done in the other end. Gandalf the Poop. Good to see this community is very mature. His teammate tried to steal his goal, but he was having none of that. And last but not least, let's end this video with a clip that will restore your faith in humanity. DJFO77 got into a Rule 1 with his opponent in a 1v1 match when he conceded probably the unluckiest goal I've ever seen. His opponent though decided to let him score an empty net though to make it even so they could have a fair game. But that's it for today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. This took a long time to make. But as always, remember to like, subscribe, comment, share this video with your friends. Watch this video or check out this playlist. Follow me on Twitter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.